regarding this is something that I wanted to put out for a while, and I know you guys probably want cards and stuff like that, but we don't need that for this message. Okay, it's gonna be very straight and to the point and thorough. But I said that at this time, a lot of these karmics are getting their womanhood is under the chopping block, questioning, not the anatomical aspect. No, 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 no. And if you have had any type of trauma within that area, I apologize, and I'm not in any attempt trying to trigger anybody. But these karmics, metaphorically speaking, their womanhood has either been removed or it's on the chopping block. And this is the conversation that they're not going to be able to fathom within their consciousness, because it hasn't gotten that deep for them in terms of what a lot of them have lost playing their game. You see? Because they don't realize that the game is already over, and judgment season now. So basically, what is going on is I'm gonna just talk about some of the ways that these karmics have forsaken their womanhood. And if you find yourself in alignment with any of these categories, please, I would suggest just doing the healing work necessary to rectify that. That's the only way. That's honestly the only way. Now, these karmics, because there's different categories of them. There's the ones that deal with your masculine. There's the ones that are in your family. There's the ones that you work with and all this type of stuff. So we'll break down their transgressions by whatever the reason they claim to be stalking you for. So anyhow, with these karmic partners, these karmic females are realizing now. They're watching these kids that were birthed out of love spells and games run around in front of them, and they can't stand looking at these children. They realize that they used their reproduction as a weapon, but it didn't get them anywhere. It was a double-edged sword. Yeah. And now they're realizing the weight and the burden that they're carrying, having to deal with these kids that they can't take care of, and the other person is not emotionally there, or even if they are there, they can't handle it. Some of these karmics too that played that game, they're gonna kind of be finding out in the near future, that was not the way to go, and they ended up trapping. Not only did they end up tampering with their destiny, with the destiny of other people. See, that's why when you're talking about bringing souls into the physical reality, you better be ready for a hell and hot water if you play that game in the reverse. As some of these karmics, when they were even playing with you with your masculine, doing magic on you, or this and this and that, or playing games. She lost her womanhood just by playing the game, just by even thinking that game was even okay to play. See, a lot of these karmics, they don't know what they look like when they're doing what they're doing. They call it something else. Remember, we talked about reprobate, but she lost her womanhood. Some of you guys feel like you may have tampered with your womanhood too and have resentment towards your masculine. Like, I was doing this and this and that for him, and I was open to him, and I was doing this, and he was dogging me. You deal with the effects of, now I understand codependency and how it works, and I'm going to change that. Let him deal with the side effects of being a dehumanizing individual stuck in the King of Swords energy that's not going to experience any love in his life unless it's with karmics that end up destroying him in the end. And let that be that. On top of that, when these karmics are now sitting and thinking about the game that they played, they're realizing that it wasn't worth it at the end of the day. That they gave up something much greater just to chase after a man that really didn't want them, or to tamper with your life, or do this and do that, and separate two people. Because a lot of these karmics are seeing these masculines binded to them and attached to them, and he's drained, and he's losing his life force, and he's depressed, and he feels suicidal. But she doesn't care, just as long as he got what she got. And a lot of them are starting to realize what they gave up, their self-respect and their dignity as a woman, trying to trap a man. So what you're saying is the man is your God. That's what the karmics are saying. Man is my God. Because in order for me to facilitate these actions that are disrespecting my spirit on several levels, I'm saying that this is just as much as putting in the effort to be fully with the Most High. That's what they're saying. Some of the karmic females that tamper with you, play with you, a lot of them are realizing that they never even were fully in their womanhood in the first place to even have lost it, that they're still very much elementary in their womanhood and childish. But that's because they were socialized. And that's why I believe, like in they tried to bear false witness reading, we talked about the sisterhood came up, the sisterhood card, because a lot of these karmics are realizing that they don't have real sisterhood, or the ones that they do have is toxic. And when one doesn't become toxic, or they start to become better, then they don't mesh with each other anymore because it was built in toxicity. And a lot of them are realizing that their womanhood is rooted in what they saw their mother do, which is nothing wrong. That's what we're supposed to follow, right? And then the boys follow the man in traditional roles, and then vice versa, of course, too, to have a healthy masculine, healthy feminine. But a lot of the karmics didn't really do their internal work. They did not, regarding their mother energy and all that stuff. And I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not for the weak of heart. It isn't. And what's the proof in the pudding isn't how they even react to dealing with her. Some of them are still triggered or in trauma and going back and forth and still trying to find love and get acceptance from her and stuff like that. Whereas those who've really gone through that type of trauma and understand, like, you know what, peace be upon you, but I'm going to just deal with my life over here, because there's no way that we can coexist in the same space. Your energy is just toxic and vampiric. And me trying to accept anything else is a suicide mission. I'm draining myself. Why would I do that? You see? So that's some of the things that you come to, because, you know, a lot of us has been socialized to believe, oh, this about your mom and that about your mom and things like that. But where even for some of these karmics, they're realizing too, how much further they have to go. You know, because a lot of them think that just dressing cute and having makeup and hair is what it means to be a woman, but they're completely horrible people inside. Their femininity is fragmented and it's damaged. That's why they operate more out of the a distorted feminine energy, which I posted a video about a while ago when I broke down the different archetypes of the distorted feminine. They're realizing now, they're seeing it now. So what's the work look like moving into that place? But a lot of them have a lot of shame because too much has happened. Too much has happened when they've been in that low vibrational state, still under the spell of their mom. You see, because it's a spell. And then if she even plays with spells on top of that, that's a whole other ball game. So now, on top of that, these karmics are realizing how that incompleteness has led them into bullshit and fuckery and relationships and da-da-da, and even in situations with you. That's where it's going to come to. That's what it's going to come to. But for them too, it's not a thing about shame, no, but it's a coming to a understanding. It's like a dichotomy that the universe is trying to give them in terms of this is what you could have been, or this is who you could be. Or could have, either or, just take it how it resonates in your situation. Some of these karmics, like that you were friends with and stuff like that, that they sold your information or your secrets and stuff like that, they've completely lost their womanhood, especially if they did it for a man. Especially if they did that, she disrespected her womanhood. She can't be a woman that can be trusted. She's automatically she's a Lilith snake. Some people have different definitions of Lilith. I'm talking about the low vibrational aspect because I do acknowledge that there's 3 levels to Lilith energy. Yeah, they're realizing what they had to give up to work against you, to try to take a bite out of you. Ooh, that person has a big ass water bottle on their car and it's gonna fall and they're probably gonna like swerve. Ooh. Yeah, there, yep, swerved. Yeah, and some of these karmics too chasing clout and things like that. They've had to give up a whole bunch of dignity and respect for that, and they're realizing that it was not worth it in the end. What they broke down energetically, what they gave away energetically was not worth it to be in that energy. This is how their womanhood is not on the chopping block for their engagement in these behaviors. Some of these karmics too in that Jezebel energy, doing anything with their body for money or da-da-da-da-da. They're realizing it as well. Some of you guys listening, you're realizing that energy too, and you're like, okay, how do I rectify this? Because there's different intensities of the Jezebel energy too. So just take that into consideration. Some of y'all too, I want you to also realize that there's circumstances that people don't understand. There's also contracts that people don't understand. There's lessons that people don't understand. So this is not about you feeling bad about yourself or shaming yourself or, am I the karmic? Did I lose my, nah, it's not about that. It's about noticing how it manifests and then addressing it properly. Some of these family members, these females, things like that, they gave up a whole lot, not just their womanhood and the ability to even stand in that comfortably, because they're shaky in it. Because they can't fully say that, oh yeah, I consider myself a good woman that is fully understanding of my womb power, my consciousness, what I bring onto the earth, my magician power, because the women are the master magicians of this planet. They don't, they can't stand in that frequency because of all the bullshit that they did. Even when they say it, there's a gnawing feeling in the back of their head that they know that they don't feel authentic because they've been part of bullshit and fuckery. You see, so now there's a collective awakening and understanding of, damn, like I really will give up a lot being in low vibrational energy, period. And a lot of them, they don't know how to carry that order because they want to be in, it's like the thing is like, you can't claim that you want that title, that energy signature of woman or high priestess or empress or something like that, and then be in low vibrational karmic energies. You can't. Your energy signature will speak for itself. If not now, then eventually. And these karmics are realizing that there is more required of them. Yeah. It's not just looking nice and looking pretty and being able to talk pretty. It's how you deal with people too. And a lot of these karmics are realizing that they diminished their own womanhood playing with you. You know, there's going to be a scandal that comes out. I told you this Me Too movement, which I kind of wasn't really on that at all. Like I just feel like it needed to be being discussed, but there needed to be there needed to be more containers. People should have came out to kind of help situations, and there's a whole bunch with that. But this next wave is going to be of women and how they could support karmic fuckery and bullshit against other women. Yes, men have their stuff too. Women also have their shit towards men. But women specifically, there's conversations about that too. And a lot of these karmic females that claim that they're about women's empowerment, they're going to find that they're about the complete opposite. And it's all, they're recognizing in how they like a deal with you and address with you. Some of your mothers are realizing that ship has been gone. But even too, like we should even talk about that one day, even the title of what it means to be a mother, because there's something about being like a mother and then being like a surrogate. And just because you gave birth to a child doesn't make you a mother. A lot of people don't understand that. Some of these mothers are coming to realize that they completely lost that role or that title or that position. And not only just in your life, but just in general, like across the board for all her actions. She doesn't get that title. She's just a surrogate. And you get and there's nothing for her to be mad about her children about. That's her choices and her actions that she chose to make. Because just because you give birth to a child, like I said, doesn't make you a mother at all, by a long shot. And they're realizing that now. And they're realizing where they transgress their own self, working against their own female children, their own daughters. It's a real sobering reality right now. Some of these other karmic females that went to go chase after, to go support your DM or whatever, or your karmics and doing all that stuff, they feel stupid now because they realize they lost more in the long run. We talked about this the other day. Some of your masculine sisters and their moms and stuff like that, they feel stupid chasing after him like that, supporting him in his stupidity and his mess, because now they just see it's a reflection of their dysfunctional family dynamics. And that's why he's out embarrassing them now. I'm telling you right now, it's Saturn in Aquarius in the 11th house, groups and collectives, and your engagement with such, you know, for you, Divine Feminine, as well. Because we always try to be so kind of like making sure that we're on our path, even when we sleep. We're like, okay, I just want to keep staying on point and doing this and doing that. Where can we also realize that even though we're women, we still have like needs as well. Like we're not robots, but at the same time too, like if you claim that you also want to ascend to the level of Empress, Goddess, High Priestess, etc., then you're gonna have to also realize that there are certain material conditions have to be kind of like sacrificed as well too. It's like for some of us, we even learned like the magnitude of how we were even way more than your masculine. You were even way more than your masculine. Way more. Way too good. Way too like overqualified in many ways. And for a lot of you guys, you realize that the going through separation or the trauma or the towers was to help you see that. to help you see that. Like, you did not, no, you're not seeing the situation right. You're the bag. We talked about this the other day. Like, you're the bag. It had to happen like that for you to see it as such. It had to register within your consciousness. So now it's like, okay, now that I know that I'm the bag, how could I make sure that this bag is more secure so just not any motherfucker can dip in and out of the contents? It's like, that's like giving a hood rat a Birkin bag. Like, I mean, honestly though, and I'm not even into that type of shit, but just understanding how economics and branding and marketing work. Reckoning. So, these are discussions that we need to keep on like having. That's the download that I get. A lot of people are coming into their realizations, into powerful realizations. I want to say something too about this spell work and this bullshit. A lot of these karmics are realizing that I'm gonna just keep it hella real with you. Like, the fastest way to kind of get yourself like really, really outcasted from the goddess energy is to attack certain people with spell work. To attack, like, especially if you're dealing with other women and you don't know their matriarchal line and what you're tampering with in their mitochondrial DNA, like, just period. That's like me going into the fucking chemistry lab with no glasses, no gloves, no beakers, no handles, no tongs, nothing, no fire safety training, and just start mixing shit up. Of course something is gonna blow the fuck up. Some of these karmics are realizing too what they've lost, trying to tamper with you and be in competition with magic or with playing with your masculine or whatever the fuck. They're realizing what they've lost. They've been exiled and banished and disconnected. So that looks a lot like dealing with poverty and mental illness and fuckery from men and not being protected. Because they created it. I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of these karmic partners that were playing games, you're gonna see them going through some serious shit that they try to put on you, and it's being returned to them. A lot of y'all that maybe you were being put into that situation, being bullied or disrespected or whatever, it's gonna flip over. Like, and I'm gonna just keep it hella real. Even for some of these masculines, they've been got the label of pig or bastard or misogynist or whatever. That's over. That's been set in stone. And any woman that goes to run with him, she's getting demoted with his ass too. It's their time right now. All these pretty boys and popular and all of them are having their reputations ruined right now for how they deal with the divine feminine energy, period. And you're gonna see it one by one, by groups, by principalities. So that's what I wanted to just put out for tonight. Very powerful energies that we're working with right now. Yeah, and I'm excited. Yeah, because I mean, this shit is not easy, but a lot of us, we've been doing this. You know, a lot of y'all too, these karmics that try to tell you about your womanhood, but the bitch is confused about hers. I'm gonna just keep it hella real right now. A lot of these hoes are gonna realize exactly who they are, and they're just, like I said, they're not women, they're females. Yeah, especially the ones that have set other women up to be sexually assaulted, or the ones that have taught men how to do sex magic, or have been paid to do sex magic for men, or that type of thing. Have done womb spells, fertility spells on other women, or try to have that shit ordered. Those bitches are been. You're gonna see them. They're gonna be the first to go and get caught up. They're gonna be the first to go. Working, doing all that shit. Just like siding with rapists and pedophiles and all that shit. They've been got their tags removed. That's done. They're just riding dirty right now, and watch what's about to happen. They're about to get pulled the fuck over by the universe. All right, y'all. So that's what I have for you. Whoa. Whew. That was good. Whoa, you guys put so much comments. Yeah. And then also too, like for us, I feel like there's like maybe like something that we can pull on for ourselves that can kind of help us be integrated in like how to walk as like spiritual women. Honestly, really, the number one thing is just watch your engagement with the sex, watch your engagement with the mouth, with the money, with friends. how you give your energy with family and stuff like that, and take two. That's really just it. It's like just making sure that you're balanced, equal give and take, and how you walk on the planet. But of course, sometimes we may miss things or be incomplete in our understanding of things. You know, some of us have been purposely misguided, or we were like the only kind of stable one, and we were dealing around a whole bunch of karmic ass women. Like I had a friend, she was telling me that all the there was like her mom and they had all had hello sisters, but they all ended up like on drugs and stuff like that, and they all had like the same astrology charts. And she said that she was going down that path and she changed her life, and she's the only one that's not like with kids, you know, kids that they can't take care of, or addicted to something, or you know, in a bad way, you know. So sometimes that does happen to people too, and or we just didn't have examples, or there was karmic energies or whatnot. So what tools are we going to also need to help ourselves just get balanced as well, so that we can keep on helping other folks in a high vibrational like aspect? And you know, what's going to continue to happen is the low vibrational karmic females, not the women, the karmic females, they're going to continue to like go into a corner. Like they're going to go be crabs in a barrel somewhere. Like they'll all shift and just go be by themselves, because birds of a feather flock together. So eventually, naturally, the wheat will be separated from the chaff, and they'll know where they go stand. And us divine feminines, we will have space to kind of be with sisterhood that's not infiltrated, that's not filled with drama and chaos, and that's not rooted in toxicity or messiness or misuse and abuse of magic, doing period blood rituals and shit like that. Because these karmics do that shit. They do that shit. They do in the games, and they do all this crazy shit together. Yeah, all that's going to be dismantled. We're going to end up going all together and then imploding and turning on each other, and just get rid of the trash altogether with that bullshit ass mess. Because it has changed. The way that women operate these days, mothers, sisters, friends, it's not the same. Bitches are loose in the mind, period. And when they're loose in the mind, you just gotta like, okay, I gotta keep it pushing with you. And then also too, what does that look like, being able to, for some of our feminines here, maintaining like just casual male friendships after being dogged and disrespected, or having male friends like secretly like us or some shit like that too. So, and what does that look like with our womanhood? So there's so much to be talked about. There's so many different subsectors that we can go into with this whole topic. I just encourage, like, I just encourage keeping it real, keeping it very real. Yeah, some of you guys are like, yeah, well, people have trauma and that's why they do those things. And yeah, that's true. And at the same exact time, still, like, there's still type of karma for a woman transgressing against other women, period. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Have a good night.